Yeah, so good day again, class. So today's week 5, day 2, and we are still on Terraform. Again, Terraform is very, very important in DevOps world. So that is what we use to do the provisioning of infrastructure. And this will be our agenda today. We're going to do some recap from our last class. Then we continue do some revision on infrastructure as a code, Terraform best practices, understanding variable. Then we're going to do labs and add some stuff to our Terraform script. Then this was from last class. We said infrastructure as a code is a process of managing and provisioning computer database data center through machine readable definition. So basically, all your EC2, you have them, these are database, these are servers, there could be a lot of things. These are networking. There's a lot of, they have to talk to each other. So, the infrastructure is a lot, and it's difficult to manage manually, and provisioning them manually as well takes time. It's prone to error. You can set it up in this account or maybe this environment, go to another environment, try to replicate the same thing. It will be difficult because there are so many things that you may not get again, and they probably forgot or whatever. So but when you have them as a code, you'll be able to replicate it anywhere. You'll be able to manage it, make changes right from the code, push it, and everything will be updated again. Maybe last class we did like two uh, instances. We launched two instances with 3 instances with our Terraform. Maybe in the future you just want to change it to 5. You just need to edit it to 5 and just say Terraform apply again. Terraform, we know that, okay, you want to add 2 more. It's very smart. It knows that, okay, you are making these changes, so it will not touch other ones. Then it will just update the number of the EC2 to 5. So, it makes things very easy to manage, to make changes and other stuff. So infrastructure as code, again, it's very key. I encourage you to read about it. Then we talk about Terraform, which is open source. By far, I think is the most popular infrastructure as a code out there. They used to provision infrastructure on the cloud, maybe AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, or anywhere. But again, it's very powerful, owned by HashiCorp. The syntax is HCL, which you guys, I think we did that last week. You see how it works with all the curly braces, quotes, and everything. So again, that is Terraform for you. Then today we're going to just talk briefly about some of the command. I know someone asked last week that these are the trust me, these are the one of the main command you use mostly with Terraform. The init. You only need to do that once. Once you Terraform init, once you the first time you set up, you write the script, you have to do the init, which will kind of download some plugins, and it will allow Terraform to manage those resources on the cloud. So it prepare your work directory for other commands. So if you don't do init, you will not be able to run some other command. Again, you only have to do it once, and that will be it. So then the validate, we check if you make some error within your code, if you run Terraform validate, it will point it out to you to let you know you have some error and stuff like that. Although if you do Terraform plan as well, you can see some of those errors. So Terraform plan it shows the changes required by the current configuration. So once you run it, will tell you that this is you are changing, you are adding these resources, you are changing this, you are destroying this. It will let you know what you're about to do before you run Terraform apply. Once you do plan will give you hints on what this Terraform is about to do. So, if you are like, oh my God, I don't want to do this, so you just have to stop there. So it gives you the configuration and let you know what it's about to change in the next script. Then Terraform apply, of course, is the one we use to do the creation of the infrastructure. Once you do the Terraform apply, it will do to perform all the magic. Maybe you are trying to provision or update, again, like I said, maybe you want to change your EC2 from 2 to 4, or, you want to change the name, if you do Terraform apply, it will know that these are the changes we are trying to do, then it will update it accordingly. Then destroy, again, just like the name, it shut everything down. When we did that last week, you saw that all the EC2 that Terraform manages, it will destroy it. I've got some interview questions. Sometimes they were asking me that, okay, for example, in your account, you have some other EC2 running there and stuff like that. So if you run Terraform destroy, that what will happen to those EC2 that Terraform didn't provision. Terraform provision some of them are there already, that you do manually in your console. So the one that Terraform doesn't provision, Terraform will not do anything with it. That's how I answer. Terraform will not do anything with it because Terraform knows what it provision. It knows the kind of EC2, the kind of resources that it provision for you. So it has like a metadata, like a mark on them that, okay, these are what I did, these are my work. So it wouldn't touch any infrastructure you did not use Terraform to provision. So, that's very important thing to learn about Terraform, So don't be, if you run Terraform destroy, it will not, it's not like we bring down all what you have on AWS. No, it only bring down what Terraform provision for you and you are trying to destroy. So that's, it's important to know. So the other one will still be there because Terraform doesn't know anything about them, So it's very, so I would just want to talk briefly about variable. Variable is very important, in programming and, all this scripting and everything. So they used to call something dry principle in programming, which stand for don't repeat yourself. So, you don't want to, in most cases, you don't want to, especially if you have some values that you have to input in different places, it's always good to use them as a variable. So you store them as a variable, then you call the variable. Just like in our, in our high school or whatever, they be like S plus Y equals 2. S equals to 5, Y is equals to 2. So, you just need to know S is equals to Y 5, Y is equals to 2. You can be using X, you can say 2S plus 5Y is equals to, So those are variables and you substitute variable with their value. So, and and in Terraform, this is the syntax they use for variable. Variable, you give it any name you want, you give it a default value. Then once you call this variable, you use var dot the name, then you'll be able to make use of the value, which we're going to do something similar to this in the lab. But, again, it's a great way to manage, to control everything, centralize it. And, other Terraform scripts too, they can call this variable, they can make reference to them and like, okay, this variable. So you can, maybe different resources, you want to provision many resources that will use AMI, in your Terraform script. They just need to call the variable, and now in the future, if you want to like change the AMI, you only need to change it in one place. You don't, because other places are just calling this variable. You don't need to keep changing it everywhere you want to use it. So you just, again, variable is very, very important concept in not just Terraform, any programming or any scripting that you can talk of. So then in the potency of Terraform, there's something in mathematics they call in the potence, and what it means is that when you apply something to itself, it will be the same thing. It will be I don't know how to explain. It will be like literally the same thing when you apply. For example, let me give you an example. If you add anything to 0, the number will not change. Or if you multiply anything by 1, for example, 20 by 1, anything by 1, that thing will still be the number itself. So Terraform is like that. For what that means is that, if you, for example, the last class we did, we provision 3 EC2 and stuff like that. If you do Terraform apply again, Terraform will not do anything. Terraform will not add another 3 instances to your this thing. Terraform will know that you didn't make any changes in this thing, so Terraform will not change anything literally. So that's idempotent. Terraform is smart enough that you already provisioned these 3 instances, so it's not going to add another 3. Even if you run it 10 times, it will still remain 3 EC2 that will be on your environment, on your account, or where you deploy it to. So it's a very important concept. Now, if you now change it to like 4, instead of count to be equal to 3, you change it to 4. So you want so Terraform will know that you have 3 already. We just add 1. It's not like Terraform will provision 4 new instances and you have 7. No. So it's very smart like that, and it knows what you intend to do. If you change it to 2 and just say Terraform apply, Terraform will just destroy one of them, automatically, and it will know. So that's just idempotent in Terraform. And then our lab today, we'll talk about hard-coded information in Terraform. You see, we put our secrets and our secret and access key on the Terraform script. We're going to see a way where we're not going to do that. Again, that's not a best practice. Never put any secret, any password in your code. Never do that. That's like the golden rule that you should be very aware of. So don't put any password in your code. Nothing. It's a very wrong practice, especially later we're still going to deploy this script to GitHub. So if you have all those information there, you have your secret there, I can just grab it. I can log into your account, maybe programmatically on my CLI. I can access your account. I can launch 10 instances, and be doing a lot of crazy stuff, put you into. So, it's a very, although we are still working locally, we don't have the code in the GitHub yet. So that's why it's still okay, to understand how that works. But, I would like to point that out, don't ever do that. This guy, Stefan, used to say, never, ever, ever, he will repeat it many times, put a secret in your code, never. I mean, it's very popular AWS question, even if you are taking this exam. So it's there are different ways to like put like a password, secret key and all those things within your environment. So, but again, it's a bad practice. Then we are going to see how to avoid it. Then, we are going to use profile, instead of using the one we used before. Then I'll show that. Then we're going to deploy a security group and attach it to EC2. Then we're going to work with some variables as well. So it will be a little bit, don't get scared. Again, those things, you can just copy the format, look it up, just understand some of all those things. The main thing is, understanding the Terraform principle and, how it works, and understanding some of the concept like resources and everything. So apart from that, you'll be, there's nothing serious there. So I'm going to log into my AWS account. Again, I'm using root user. If user, which is not really the best way to do that, because at the end of the day, root user is a very, very powerful user. So I can have a IMA user that can log in, but unfortunately, I don't think I have one. So I just provide my account ID here, then, with the user ID and the password. And, IAM is, is a very important concept to know on AWS. But again, I'm just going to log in with my, I think this is W. Then if you remember, this was the code. Can you guys see my VS code?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is the, you remember this was the code we were working with last week. The only thing that changed is I just added the variable feed. And this was what I was talking about, this secret and access key there. It's very, very dangerous to put this in your code. If you put this in a GitHub, especially, they get access to this tool, you are done. So because they can get into your account, put you into serious trouble. use your account to run 20 server, heavy server to mine Bitcoin or do some crazy stuff. So you don't want to do that. It's a bad practice, and it's something you should look forward to. So now,
where that AMI ID, where does it come from?
okay, you don't use it. So the AMI
No, I use
ID,
it, but it was under resource.
yeah, it's under the source. You're talking of this. Yeah, this is the variable that I
Variable.
want to explain. Yeah, this is a variable. So
Okay.
this is a variable feed. This is like the syntax to define variable. So now, if you remember the last class, we just put this value here directly.
Yes.
Yeah, we just put the AMI right here directly. Now you define a variable by writing just variable like this. With my distance, I'm sure it will help me to do that. So you give it any name you want, any name. This AMI underscore ID is just a name I give
Okay.
it. I can say my image ID, my just a cute name. I can say my
Okay.
image ID or whatever. So I can give it a name here, then here you provide a default value. A default value is the value you want it to be by default. So you can give, that's where you now put the main, and you now put the AMI itself right here.
Okay.
So
So instead
now,
of typing that, you just write
exactly, yeah.
AMI.
So now when you want, because in some resources, you may want to use this thing in many places. You may
Again.
want to,
Okay.
exactly, you may have another resources that want to use this. So you don't want to be putting it everywhere. That's what they call don't repeat yourself, drive principle in like programming. You don't want to be doing that and be writing it multiple times. Just have it once and call it. Now in the future, if I want to change so to call it now, the syntax is you put var. I mean, this is Terraform syntax. You put var dot the name,
Okay.
dot the name. So it will know that you are referring to this one. Now that I change the name to my image, this one will just be like my image,
Okay.
my dash image. Again, those are some basic things to just understand all this thing.
So, but this variable script that I wrote now, you can write it anywhere in the script.
You can write it anywhere. You can create a file and just write it there. I think you have to put it, mostly you have to put it on top of the script,
Okay.
on top of the script like this in most cases. So you can have a lot of them, maybe even like all this instance type as well. You can have it too and say variable instance, type, or maybe instance, let me see, type, stuff like this. Then you just give it any default value, and you can allow people to put things there too, even though it has a distance. So here now we just call it like, okay, var dot instance value,
Instant
and
value, instant
exactly,
type. Okay.
instant type. So that dot is very important. Even these resources, that if I want to call it, it will be AWS underscore instances dot kenneth. So if I use this in any of my Terraform code, it's like I'm making reference to everything in these resources. So that dot will be sending you're going to see how we're going to use one of it, later in this thing. Let me see. Yeah. So, but just understand this thing. So let's talk about this access key, and other alternative we can use to eliminate it. So now if I go to my AWS account, yeah, okay. So if I go to my AWS account right now, okay, I'm not even signing. So you remember we got the user ID and the so if I go to IAM, so okay, yeah, I will show you how I get my AMI. Okay, no, that was not what you're asking for, right? Okay, let me go to IAM, which is where you must manage user role and policy. You remember we created a user last week that have the, what's it called, that have access, programmatic access, and it has admin access too. So Terraform is using the credential for this user. So basically, the ID and the secret ID, which again you can't see anymore. But that's how we created it. So now you remember I said we should download what's it called, AWS CLI. Yeah, exactly. This is where we go to, because we didn't really use it last week. I'm sure you can run the same command directly from VS Code. If you have your command open here, AWS CLI, AWS version. So you should be able to run it directly from VS Code. I can make this a little bit bigger, so I have that. So what you want to do now is to do this AWS configure. Remember we did it last week, but we didn't just use it. AWS configure. So again, I already removed this particular one, so I will just overwrite it with the new this thing I have. So I want to do AWS configure. I will just paste the access key here. So because I want to remove the access key from here. So then it's asking for secrets now. So then I'll just put my secrets right here. Hope I copy it correctly. So I'll put my secret right here. Then I ask you for, I will leave this since it's US East 1, you can put your region that you're working with. So I just hit enter right here. Then default, I will hit enter. So now what it does is that this command has kind of like provision like a user, like a profile. They call it profile, user profile for us. So you can see that profile if you go to if I go to CD, I want to go to then .aws. Sorry, I think slash should be there. So CD, it will be like hidden file. Once you run this command, it will like provision hidden file to see it. On PowerShell, you can just do ls, or I'm sure you see it, but on Linux, you have to do like LA or AL. So it will show you all file with hidden file used to start with dots, with dots. So now we are inside this folder now, which is .aws. If I use ls now, these are the credential, the one I just provisioned. Let me just do cat credential, because this credential is a file. So I just want to view the content of this file. So you see the same thing I have here is stored here, and the name this give it is default. This name is very important. Again, you can edit this and give it any name, but by default it will give it a name default. So then you see the secret key is the same thing. The access key is the same with what we have too. So again, the name is default by default. So let me just say that. So the name is default by default. So what you now want to do is that I want to change this thing completely. I want to take it out. Again, this is not a good practice to put the access key directly, but because we already provisioned this, so what I will do is that I will say profile, then let me see the app. So equals to, so what is my profile name? So my profile name is default, which is small default. So this is my profile name now. So this is all I need now. Automatically I can do stuff with it. Even this region, I don't think I need it, because again, I already provisioned everything within this AWS config that I did. So let's see if this will work. Again, I will save this, and launch it again, and let's see what happens. So again, we remove the secret key ID, no one can say, I can put this in the GitHub now, nobody will know what I use, because this thing is on my computer. This is right, the credential is right in my computer, not in the code. So, no, anyone that see this code, they can't do anything with it, because I don't have this profile you are saying is right on my personal computer, not this thing. So if I go to my EC2 now and go to AWS.
So if they use it on another system, it will even work.
Yeah, unless you do the same thing, unless you provision it too. So you see, I don't have anything running right now So so if I provision it now, this should work. So let's just try it and see what happens. Then I can destroy again. And that's the beauty of Terraform. You can do and undo. You don't need to worry about the stresses. So I already save it. So I'll just do Terraform. You can do
I think you have a little error in your line 9. The name of the variable
doesn't
image
close.
ID.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah. I think it's
the name of the
Okay,
AMI.
image
oh,
var.ami.
okay. Where I was making
Image,
reference to,
image
yeah,
ID.
okay, I put IG. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Okay, ID, yeah, it's the dot, var dot, yeah. Okay, it's good, yeah. Thank you for noticing that. So because if I run it, that will not work. So I can do again, before you do Terraform plan, make sure you are in the folder, make sure you are. That's why I CD out of this AWS now. I was in .aws before, I just CD back again. If I do ls now, oh, sorry, I do Terraform ls. So I'm not even in that folder. So this will not work. So the folder is in, the folder I'm working on, it's on, it's under, let me do ls. I think it's under,
I think it should be on that desktop.
sorry, someone should off their note their mic. So yeah, we are under desktop, then my Terraform. That's where the script is. So again, you have to, because if you are running this thing where you don't have the script, it will not work. It will not work, honestly. So make sure you are there. And I almost ran the code without even noticing that. So I will do CD desktop, then slash, I think my Terraform. So I just do everything once. So I should be there now. So, okay. So if I do ls now, I should be able to see the script, which is this. So, which is this guy. So, if you are not in that folder, this will not work. So if I do my Terraform, Terraform, let me do plan first, again, it should work. And, the only thing I'm just trying to show here is, trying to prove that, you don't have to put your secret key right there. It's not a best practice. Then I will do apply to approve. So basically, auto approve will not ask you yes to enter yes. You remember when we are okay, we have error now. var.image ID. My image, oh my god, my dash image ID. Why is it complaining about that? Or I didn't save this thing. I think I saved it. Let me try and save it again. Okay. Sorry. When you I don't think we should put a quote around this thing again. Let me see. Yeah. So let me try that. I think that was the error. Since we are calling a variable, you shouldn't put a quote around it again. So that's what's happened there. So again, other ones, these are string, these are what they call string and just programming. But since this one, we are calling it from somewhere, that's why you don't have to put a quote around it. And that's why this thing was throwing me error. So once I remove the quotes now, you see everything is working perfectly. Other one will have quotes, of course, but again, this one we are making reference to this variable right here. So the quotes should not be there. And those are small things that we should notice. So I will advise you guys to use this profile method. Don't put the so we've been able to provision our EC2. So if I do refresh now, you see everything is running. So Yeah, but you see the 3 instances running. So, but again, this is a better. There are another way to do all these things, especially in the bigger organization. They use some complicated authentication ways to do all those things. So, but again, this is way better to do, and this is this is a better practice to use with anything you are doing. You don't want to store your secrets, your maybe username, password, and all those stuff. It's not the best practice. So yeah, so just something to know, and it's important. So what we are going to do now is that, okay, let's see the infrastructure we deploy and let's see what happens. Okay, we have it, Jenkins. So let's just see some of the configuration it has. So by default, what happened is that if I go to security now in one of them, so it just give it a default, give it a default security group, and all ports are open, they are open to that same security group, I think. So, this, you may have some challenges with this thing because, and the outbound traffic is open to everybody. So, again, what I'm trying to say is that it just give it a default security group that it will generate that security group, give it to it. So in most cases, you want, just like we are doing for our security group, you want to control it. You want to control the traffic that come to your server back and forth and stuff like that. So that's why we want to okay, see how can we add security group as a resources. So how to do that is, again, from the documentation page, I got the template. It's not like I know it off my head, and I have to this thing. But I got the template, and I will explain it as much as possible. How it works, and what each feed does. But again, you can look it up. But this is how to define what's it called? This is how to define security group on AWS. So let me just grab this, then I will try and explain everything. And yeah, so okay, and then this is our main script actually. So I want to put it even before, because I want the security group to, I want it to provision the security group, then attach it to EC2. That's what I want to do. So so let's see the script. Let me bring this thing down so that my screen will be a little bit. Then I will, again, this thing, I look it up. Okay, how to, you don't really need to craft, just understand how things works. And again, these are resources. You see, resources just mean different things. This is the EC2 we provisioned before. This is the resources. These are another resources. So right now we have 2 resources here. Previously, we only have 1 resources, which is EC2. Although it's 3 EC2, then it's still EC2, but it's considered as 1 resources here. So here we added another resources, which is security group, and this name is, you have to use it if you want to. This first name you see, once you put resources, the name is given by Terraform. You can look it up that, okay, what is the resource name for the Terraform? It has to be this. It's not something you give, you make up on your own. Maybe if it is load balancing, it will be LB, in quotes, then the next one. So the one you can modify is this one, which I just put allow. You can put any name here. This could be your name. And the same thing with this EC2. If you remember, I just put Kenneth EC2. You can put any name here, it's fine. But the other one is, it's what Terraform controls. It's what controls the resources. Same thing with this security group. If you are doing any other resources on AWS, they have their name. They have the name that comes with it. Again, these are the name. This is the name with security group, and everything is under it. As you can see, it has a open curly braces here, and close all the way to the end. So again, this name, I give it this name. I can say my nice, you can give it anything, Kenneth security group, or but I just want to give it a name to describe the role. Again, guys, remember when we are doing, let me go to our console again. and go to security group, to the left, once we launch this thing, you see all these are what Terraform provision for me, by default. So, you remember once you create security group, you give it a name, my SG or whatever, description, this, rule, you must add a rule, and that's what defines the security group. Add a rule, you can have maybe SSH 22 ports opening, I'm just trying to refresh our memory back to how to do it manually. Then we are going to do it with Terraform again, and you see how you see all this rule. So this is what they call, you see, we have two rules here. We have the inbound rules and the outbound rules. Inbound rules are traffic coming into your network or your infrastructure. Outbound is the one going out. So you can control both of it, like, okay, inbound only accept this, but by default, security group, we allow every outbound rule that you accepting. So if you accept port 22 open, by default, security group will open outbound rule for you. So most times you just have to leave it as a all traffic like this, because the main thing is this inbound rule that you control. So that means that if you allow port 22 to go out, automatically port 22 will come in. So if I add another one, I say HTTP port, let me say HTTP, which is 80, then, I allow it open, automatically it will be coming in again, and that's it will be going out again. That's outbound rule. So in most cases, you don't really need to bother much about the outbound rule. The main thing is you want to control is the inbound, the traffic coming in. So if if you do not allow this, you can't, nothing will even go out. So, just to give us a brief revision, then, you can set up this thing. So let's go back to our Terraform script again and see how it looks like. So first thing is the name, just like the name I gave it here, you can give it any name. Description, this is completely optional. I just say allow HTTP, this thing. In documentation, you see all those things, they will let you know this is optional, this is compulsory that you have to fill out. You can just edit all those things. So now what I'm doing is ingress. Ingress is incoming traffic, then egress is outgoing. So again, going back here, egress is this inbound traffic you are seeing here, rules, then outbound traffic is the egress. So, those are things to just note. So egress also has a curly braces, it has a children, it has some things you define there. So from port to port to this, this one actually, in most cases, you put the same value there. This is just telling you maybe you have a range of ports you want to open, but in most cases you put the same value there, but you have to put something in both of them. Maybe this one will be 22, you just send that 22, 22. Again, you can give a range, but in most cases, you just want to leave it as it is. So what we are saying is that we are adding rule. If I go back here now, we are adding HTTP rule. That's what we are doing. Or you can just leave it as custom TCP and just say 80. That's what we are doing in this script right now. So we are adding rule, and we call the protocol TCP. Let me go back to this. Then you see this protocol here, custom type. Right here, this is the protocol TCP. So, there are different protocols you can choose from. UDP, mostly you're going to be working with TCP protocol. So all this 80, 22, they are TCP, and that's what we are defining in our script here. Again, these are things you see in the documentation, and you can change it based on what you want. Then this is the CIDR block, same thing as what you are seeing there, 0.0.0/0. That's what maybe you have IP address you want to accept, maybe 32.80.10.10/28. Maybe you have a specific IP you can define it same way you can put it in your script here. You can put it in your script here that, okay, these are what I want to accept in my distance. And again, guys, once you see this sign in most programming, this is very important. This square brackets. Yeah, square brackets is the name. It means an array. An array, again, in another way, is a list. So this means like you can put a lot of option here. You can accept many things within this. Once you see this thing, that means you can define many options inside this thing. So just a side note to just remember, because you're going to be seeing stuff like this very well. But now we are just saying that we only accepting 000/0 on our port 80. So so that's what we are defining in the ingress, which is inbound rule. So the egress is the means outbound. Just like I said, we are saying that everything 00, then this -1 just means that all protocol, just like what you are saying here, all protocol, everything, you are just accepting everything for outbound. Again, by default, that's how security group works. And you don't really have to bother much about outbound traffic, and that's egress rule. Again, you can literally just copy this. Now, for example, if I want to add another rule, you just have to replicate this, and just put it here again. Maybe I want to add port 22, just like here, I want to add a rule, and I'll call it port 22. Then this, I will call it 00. So I can just do that here and just add it, port 22. To my this thing, just edit this to 22, edit it to 22. Then of course it's TCP. Then I want to allow anyone to access it as well. So, you can have many rules within that. Again, don't be scared. This is kind of long, but, just understand the concept. You see it in the documentation. It's nothing, serious. Just know what you have to modify there to meet your requirement. Then the tag, again, everything used to have tag. It's optional. You can give it a tag name, key, name, value, whatever. And that's what this is meant for too. This feed you are seeing, I just give it the tag, allow traffic. So, that is it. So now, what will happen now is that, okay, we are going to provision our, let me give it a space, just to make it a little bit clean. So what will happen is that, okay, we provision this one. If we run it now, it's going to provision security group, then it will provision EC2. But what we're trying to do is that we want to attach the EC2 to security group. How are we going to do that? That's when we need to add a feed, this feed. Right here again, it's something I, look up or whatever, just understand what you are trying to achieve. That, okay, you want to like attach this security group that you provision to this feed. So how do you do that? So this is how you do that. So then this will be this. Okay, let me just get the teacher. So this name again, this is like a constant, from from Terraform, the VPC _ security group.id. So it's like it's like the feed that will allow you to do the what's it called, attachment, to attach the security group to DC2. So what you need to define here is, AWS security group, meaning that you are making reference to this feed, then dot allow HTTP, which is this. Again, if you change the name here, you have to change the name here, then .id. So this one will give you the ID. So what you are now telling on this feed is that, okay, provision my EC2 within this security group ID. Basically, that's what you are doing. You are just attaching the security group ID, because this .id you are doing now, it will output the ID of this security group. Again, this is the name you are seeing here, AW _ security group is the same thing as this, then dot, allow traffic is the name I gave it here. Again, this could be anything, then the .id. So this automatically we know that you want to provision your EC2 to have this security group. First of all, Terraform will deploy this security group, then it will allow you to provision the EC2, then attach it to the security group. So let's see what happened. And I don't know if I should destroy the other one first before. Again, let's see what we have currently, I'm not going to provision this. I'm just going to cancel it. I'm just trying to explain. But if I go back to my EC2 dashboard, I think we destroy. Okay, we didn't destroy it yet. So yeah, we still have the three stuff running. So then you see the security group that is there. You see that is default security group. If we check the rule as well, you see that it's just all or whatever. So let's now do Terraform apply, and let's see what Terraform will do to this guy. First of all, let's do Terraform plan. So Terraform know that we already have the resources, so it's not going to provision another EC2. So what Terraform will do now is that it will just provision the security group, then attach it to this guy. So assuming we don't have this thing running already, Terraform will do everything. So but again, Terraform is smart enough to know that we already have the EC2 provision. So we're just trying to provision a security group and attach it to our running instance. So let me bring out my distance. I think is okay. So let me bring out my terminal again. So I will save this actually. Again, don't be scared. This is getting too much. Again, the last class we're going to see how we can make all this thing more smaller, and make it kind of not too but again, this is just security group. Imagine we want to attach load balancing, we want to do auto scaling. You'll be getting up to like a lot of, we almost 50 line now. You'll be getting like 100 plus line of code within the same distance. So as a best practice, you can separate them. Put the provider somewhere else, put all the variables. And again, you can have a lot of variables. Even all these things you are saying, you can put them as a variable. The IP addresses too, you can store them under variable and just call it. And but let's see Terraform plan, and let's see what we are going to get from Terraform plan. Terraform plan will tell us what changes we're going to do. So again, I don't.
Sorry, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
Under the egress,
Yeah.
the protocol that has equal to -1. Sorry, what does that actually?
It means that all protocol, all protocol.
Okay.
Yeah. That -1 means again, if you look at that was security group, which I was doing stuff like before. Egress again by default, it's always it's mostly. So if I go to egress, you see this is what is based like all protocol, literally all protocol. In most cases, you don't really want to like do much with egress like that. That's outbound rule. So that -1 with Terraform just means all protocol. So yeah, that's what that means, and that's why I put the comment here. Again, guys, once you see within the code, you see all this thing. This is the comment. Your code will not execute this. I can. Those are best way, because if someone else is reading my code, I want them to understand. I can say this we provision. Those are some side things to note. EC2, and attach security group. You can write something. So once you put this sign there, automatically your the environment will know that you're not trying to execute this. If this is not there and I run this code, it will throw me an error that that it doesn't understand what is there, because this is just a written language. So just note that you'll be coming across stuff like this a lot if you are doing some online research. So security group right here, here you can say, okay, these resources will, you can make it clear so that when people are reading it, these resources will provision. When people are reading it, they will understand what, because again, this could be very complicated script, and like maybe someone that write the script left the company, and they'll be like, okay, what is going on here? So it's always good to describe some of your stuff and put a comment and let them know what you are trying to do, because there are different ways to do things in a scripted world. So this will provision security group. Yeah. So So now we have two rows that will provision. Port 80 will be open, then port 22 will be open, which will be this thing. Then egress, it's just going to open everything, and that's what we want to do. So again, let me save it and be sure it's saved. So let me run Terraform plan now, and let's see what's. Let me put this up a little bit. Hopefully, it's not going to throw an error. So Terraform plan will tell us what's going to happen. So it tells us that, okay, one to add, this is very important, this feed, plan is going to add one resources. Obviously, you guys should guess that would be security group. Then there will be three changes. So we make some changes within so the three changes is that it will attach the security group to all our EC2. So that's what it means by it will change three. So it will add one resources, change, and it will not destroy anything. Assuming, okay, let me just do something interesting here. Let me just change this to, instead of three, I just want to change it to the count. I want to change it to 2. Yeah, maybe we notice in our company that we don't need 3 EC2 to be running. So I'll change it to 2. Then let me run Terraform plan, and let's see what Terraform is trying to do here. So now we change it to 2. Remember, we deployed 3 already. So Terraform is telling us that we destroy 1 resources. Then it will change 2. Then it will add 1 resources. Again, the resources that it will be added will be security group, of course. Then it will attach those security group. Again, currently we have a default security group, so it will change it. It's not like it's adding new stuff. We will just update it to what we want. Then it's going to terminate 1 instance because we change it to 2 instead of 3. So let me do Terraform apply, and let's see. Again, I don't like to type. I'm very lazy. So if you do auto approve, it will not prompt you to say yes or no. So, but again, you can just do Terraform apply. You don't have to do that. So let's see. Hopefully, we're not going to get any error because I don't trust Terraform these days. Yeah. So again, everything seems to be working well. It's telling us that it's modifying things. By default, it will modify the security group we have on our environment. So it's destroying one of it now, one of the EC2. Let's say, let's just wait. Then we go to our EC2. You see the new changes. So again, you see how, again, maybe it's not too easy to write this script, but once you write this thing, you can just be making little changes, modify. Maybe in the future we want to add another security rule. You can just modify this, just copy this feed, copy it, just understand some of all this syntax, then, put it in the next. So now it tells us that, okay, 1 added, 2 changed, then 1 destroyed. Let's go to our dashboard and know if Terraform is lying. So I'll go back to my run instances. So again, you see now we are reduced to 2 from 3. So it terminated 1. So it terminated this. Then let's see the security group we have on our instance. So if I click on one of them now, and you see what the security group will provision, allow instance, the name. I'm sure you guys say that this was not there before. Now, so if I right click and open that in another tab, let's see the security group, and let's see what is there. So you see the 2 rules that we define, the HTTP rule, port 80, the same thing that we define, and the outbound rule. Then if we go to the outbound rule, we say all traffic, all protocol, then to 000. So you can do a lot of cool stuff. We are able to like update our environment, without having to do things manually and stuff. So and these things are very powerful because now we put this code in a GitHub, and maybe someone come, maybe we work together again. These are group work. You work together in a team. You do all this stuff. Maybe your mate comes there and just, again, normally this would be in a GitHub repository in companies, because you want to be able to version it, you want to be able to know any update going on there. So now we just have it on our computer. Again, we are just running this code on our local computer, and we store it on our computer. So if we push it to GitHub, you see stuff there. So for example, maybe your mate comes to this code and just change this port from 22 to maybe the 34, and just do, again, in GitHub, before you can make any changes, you do commit, git push, everything. So if you do git push, anybody that comes there, we know that, okay, Yomi made these changes, because it will tell you that, okay, this user make these changes to this code. You know anyone that that modify your infrastructure, that do things, you'll be able to manage it, because again, these are not what one person will be working on, a team of 5 or maybe more than that sometimes. So, you want to be able to track everything going on. You want to be able to make sure that people don't just mess up with your infrastructure. People don't just come there and, change the EC2 that the company is used to, like 10 or 15. You'll be able to monitor all those things, and they keep a good track of them. So that way, you are treating your infrastructure as a code. That's why they call it infrastructure as a code. Normally they do coding like that, but now we are doing infrastructure like that. Again, all the resources are infrastructure. There are a lot of them. We can attach elastic IP, we can put keep here in our, there are a lot of things we can do. We can do network interface, we can do load balancing, target group. These are things you can do on your Terraform script. By default, it will provision everything on the go. So again, these are very powerful concepts in cloud world, not just DevOps cloud, it's very, very important. And they, just understand the concept, some of the, what resources is, some of all these things, how to, like, manipulate your way, because what you will see online, they will just put example here. You are the one that will know that you can edit, you can put anything there. You should know how to call these resources too, if you want to make reference to it. So, example, you want to make reference to the resource ID, this EC2 ID, you can say AWS underscore EC2 dot the name, then dot ID. So it will know that you are making reference to the ID of the. So those are the basic things that, is very important to know. And, so this thing is very important, to which we're going to talk about in the next class. They call it Terraform state file. So anytime you like do Terraform apply, it will give you the state of your Terraform. This is a JSON template, to give you like a JSON template of all the, you see the CPU count, a lot of information there. So if you make any changes there, it will change it too. So, we're going to talk about this next class, and how we can manage state file, because the end product is that we are going to deploy this to AWS environment. We are going to push it to AWS, do git push and stuff like that. But there are some files you don't want to push to GitHub. Sorry, we're going to push all this thing to GitHub eventually. So, but there are some files you don't want to put to GitHub, and one of them is this TF state. It's very, because it used to contain some sensitive information about your infrastructure, so you don't want to throw it out there. And it's a very common interview question. They will ask you that, okay, how do you manage your state file, in Terraform? So, state file by default, I didn't write this. Don't think I was the one that write this. Nope. So once you do Terraform apply, Terraform will provide this for you by default. But, again, you don't want to push this into GitHub repo. So the only thing you want to push into is like the main TF. And then, we're going to see how to find a way around it, definitely. So, if I go to my EC2 now dashboard, then I'm sure I should be able to use Jenkins from here directly. Let's see why is it not showing anything running? So we have 2 instances running. Then let me grab I'm supposed to be able to access my Jenkins here, because I use this image. Jenkins is 8080. Oh, I don't have 8080 open. Yeah, I could have opened the 8080. Okay, let's do something interesting. So if I do 8080 now, because the image I use for this thing, actually, it's a clone image. It's an image from my Jenkins server, the old Jenkins I show you. We were working with. That's the image I use for this AMI ID you are looking at, this AMI ID. So let me add another row. Matter of fact, this would be interesting things to. So I'm just going to add another rule. Then I'll call it. Sorry, let me put it again. Just understand some of what this thing. Then I will add it again. Again, there's a better way to make this thing not too long like that. Which we are going to still address. So okay. I just want to make sure they align. So I change this to A0A0. So I want to allow A0A0 A0, A0, because now I can't access my server. So I will do, let me save it, then I'll just do Terraform apply. So Terraform, we know that I'm just making little changes there. So I will do Terraform apply, and then let me put this up so that you see. So let me do Control C. And let me clear it so that you see my screen better. So I'll do Terraform apply auto approve. So it will automatically know that I'm adding a rule to my security group. I'm exposing A0A0. So it went very fast again because it knows that we are not doing a lot of things. So we just adding a rule, making a change to our security group. Yeah, so to our existing security group. So you see automatically this open now because of this thing I did. So this is my Jenkins server from that EC2. If I do admin, you see the familiar Jenkins that we are working with before. So you see the Jenkins. I took a snapshot of this image actually. That's why I could get this. And this is the AMI right here. So this is the AMI that I used. That I took a screenshot from my original Jenkins server. So it will just give me my exact Jenkins. So and that's what I think someone asked about Packer. That's what you do with Packer. You can use Packer to do image like this, to do custom image like this. Then you allow Terraform to deploy everything. So and the application will just come by default. I just have my Jenkins up just like that. So let me do Terraform destroy and let's just destroy everything. Yeah, any question, guys? I'm going to make this script available. For now, it will be available in the team. So later we are going to push it in the GitHub. I don't want to push it in the GitHub here. No, yeah, you can make any modification here, make it anyhow you want, and yeah, any question, guys? I know it looks like we have a lot of stuff here, but trust me, it's not a lot like that. Just all these things, you see the template, just know what you have to change, what you have to add, what you have to modify. So
I want to ask, like, the resources that you created with this Terraform.
Yeah.
You can't edit it on the console.
You can actually, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just asking.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question, very good question. Like, okay, for example, let's see the security group we created. I'll go back to my EC2. So I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right security group. So let's say security group. DSA. So this is the security group that Terraform created. You see. So let me say on the console. So you see the 800 we just added. So let me say on the console let's edit this rule and just maybe let's delete 800 again. We already added, so we added it and everything was, but let's now run Terraform plan and let's see what happened. So let me see Terraform plan. Okay, let's run Terraform plan. So Terraform will automatically notice that something is not right. So it will want to like update it. So okay, 0.1 to change. So it's about to update it because Terraform noticed that we make the manual change there. So if we do Terraform apply now, we restore it back to where it was before.
Okay.
So those things are very, it's important to also note. So but Terraform pick it up that someone make these changes. So 1 to change, that means that what we have there is not the same as what Terraform have right here. So because on the console we already removed the stuff. So I mean that's a good question, of course. Yeah, it's you don't. There's a way to like which I will also let me even put some of those things down, which there's a way you can like restrict people from making manual changes on Terraform. Yeah, the next class I will talk about that, and how we can like avoid that, or like track that in a better way. So yeah, define. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, any other question, guys? Yeah, the main thing you just take away, don't forget to update your profile, yeah, do the AWS configure,
But all these things we are doing, we can also like edit it on. I mean, like at the bottom, the terminal at the bottom,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Instead of using this one, we can use maybe PowerShell or Git Bash.
yeah, and use Vim. Yeah, you can do that. I can come here, but this one we just give
Yeah,
you
this one you can see what you're doing instead
exactly
of
better. Yeah,
interchanging.
yeah. Okay, let me go to my terminal now. Maybe this could be your Git Bash or anything, So
Okay.
let me see into desktop, and then I will see into, I think it's my
Terraform.
my Terraform. So if I do ls, you see the script here, so I can do
Okay.
vim main dot this thing, then I can
Okay.
edit it like, okay, I don't want this, then let me just exit from vim. I don't want to make any change. Then I can run here Terraform. Once you can run Terraform, apply. Once you can run Terraform on your terminal, you can do everything. I'm
Okay.
just using VS Code because it will. You
Yeah,
see,
it helps with the
yeah.
editing. Yeah.
You see the script up, then you see the command down.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the same thing. You can do this on your maybe Git Bash terminal or or PowerShell in the
Your
Windows.
AWS CLI and stuff.
Yeah. So you can do it there. If you just have access to the code, you know where you store the code. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
this is you see all the file you are saying, the
Yeah,
Terraform
yeah.
test state, everything. It's right on my computer. If I go to
But the main thing is that Terraform, once you install it, is on the
yeah,
whole system.
it's on those exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
can run the code, you can run it anywhere. Yeah,
Anywhere. Okay.
exactly,
That's what I
anywhere.
want to
Yeah,
understand now.
yeah. I mean, that's a good question, yeah, that's a good question to ask. Yeah, we share one this thing. Let me stop.